Okay, and there we go. I'd like to welcome everybody this evening to our client support community chat. It's now February 9th, already into the first days or the second week of February. I'm Jody Kahn, and I'm honored to be our host this evening and welcome everybody who's here live on the call and to everybody who is catching the recording. This is one of the integral pieces, the secret sauce to Optavia, I have to tell you. 9 years ago is when my husband and I began our journey for health. And 9 years later, here I am, still making Tuesday night a rock in my calendar. And this crazy year has made it even more important to come and be part of a community where health and growth and support and positivity is our culture. So I applaud you all for being here tonight. I'm really excited to really have us dive right into tonight's topic. After I remind you to maybe get a drink, maybe get a piece of paper and something to write with, because you might have some, inspiring thoughts. You might get some ideas you want to jot down during the meeting. It's always a good idea to be prepared and to just sit back and enjoy. So it's really my honor and pleasure tonight to introduce Susie Berg, who's going to be hosting, and her hubby, David Berg, who's going to be a guest on tonight. So Susie, take it away.
Thank you so much, Jody. I'm wondering, I put into the chat the title of tonight's, the topic of tonight's call. What do Super Bowl 55 and your journey have in common? So I don't know if you thought about it, but what comes to mind, and would you put into the chat what you think comes to mind? And then I'll share where my thoughts are. Teamwork. Okay. Big, small steps for the big win. Yep, being a winner. Good. These are all good. Some of the thoughts I had too. So perseverance, consistency, those are amazing. Yep, those are all amazing thoughts. So I'm going to just take it a little bit further. Accountability, love it. Okay, they're all just rolling in. So a couple of things I did not, puppies. A couple of things I didn't see that I thought really resonated with me are, well, we have a kickoff call, right? We have our defensive strategies. Someone did say teamwork and our wins, but I also thought of how we pass on those off-plan foods. And then sometimes we encounter passing interference, right? Those food pushers, people, the office break room. So those were kind of my thoughts. But the real tie-in is going to be our big reveal, and it's coming a little bit later. So hold on to your hats for that. So as Jody mentioned, joining me tonight is my Optavia partner and husband, David Berg.
Hi, everyone.
So welcome. Our journey began 4 years ago. We committed to doing this program together. We had never done a program before, and so we were quite petrified, is really the word, and hesitant, and just all those emotions put together. And early on, in the first couple of weeks, we want to share with you that we struggled a lot. We had a lot of different struggles, both physical and dealing with mindset issues. So we're going to share a couple examples of what we struggled with. Maybe it would resonate with you. And we'd like to focus on what kept us going and ultimately what's led us to where we are today. So David, would you share what your thoughts are on this?
Sure. I think one of the biggest struggles that I faced was everything that I knew about eating for my entire life until 4 years ago was turned upside down. The foods that I enjoyed, my go-to comfort foods, just everything about portion size, taking seconds, all those things that I had, grown up with. I'm sure many of you grow up a certain way. All those kinds of the things that, I knew about eating, and the foods that I had grown so accustomed to were basically turned upside down. So I was questioning things like, why am I doing this to myself? Maybe I didn't fully, have the whole why, my why under control. And, I was just upset about it because everything was just so foreign. But then after a little while, I realized that Optavia was really, it was a way to teach me what to eat. And as long as I ate what the plan said, I could actually lose weight by eating. It seems kind of counterintuitive, because a diet plan, in my mind, a diet plan is all the things you can't eat. But I realized that Optavia is not a diet plan. I mean, I know that. And it wasn't, basically a way to learn how to eat. And as long as I ate all the things that I was supposed to eat as part of the plan, I would lose weight. Exercise is good, but that is, not one of the necessary components to lose weight, at least in the early stages. And so that it just became kind of, I saw the results immediately, and it just had such a great effect on me. Like, wow, all I have to do is eat, according to the plan, and I'll lose weight. And sure enough, I did. And, I think Susie will talk a little bit about, more about this, but to me, that was really transformative. As long as I stick with the plan, the weight came right off. So what about you, Susie?
Yeah. So for me, my biggest challenge was dealing with exercise. So I knew going into my first week that I was supposed to cut my exercise in half by time and intensity. So I was planning, so I did that. But what I encountered was feeling, just 10 minutes into a walk, I was feeling lightheaded and dizzy. And it was really scary. And it happened repeatedly. So it wasn't just like a one-off experience. And um, so what we both realized, for two very different reasons, is that we needed to switch up our plan. 5 and 1 just, was good for a couple of weeks, but it just wasn't doing it for us. So we both did switch into the 4 and 2. So we remained in fat burn, but it just gave us a little more whole food, and it just helped so much with just me being able to do my little bit of exercise that I wanted to do for mental health reasons. And, David, we were both happier, just having a little more whole food. So what other things kept us going? So for sure, working with Jody Kahn, our coach, was our lifeline. It was just incredible to have someone holding our hand and walking us through this journey that was so foreign to us. So, I thank you, Jody. I've thanked you for 4 years, but it never ceases to amaze me how much you have done for us. So one thing that I just want to encourage all of you to do is that when you're struggling, you can reach out to your coach in between those weekly calls. So that's what I did. I mean, I was, begging and pleading and for help. But really, we talked in between those calls, and that was really, really helpful. I also trusted the program, and I trusted Jody, and it kind of went hand in hand. Just trusting the program. The program, has been studied and scientifically designed and backed by physicians. And so I trusted the program. The other thing is we had to have patience with ourselves, that we weren't just going to instantly be where we wanted to be. And the value of nutrition support. I had nutrition support on like speed dial. I would call Ryan. Ryan was my favorite at nutrition support. He's still there. I would call him from the grocery store. I would call him, all kinds of times. And they're registered dietitians are staffing that nutrition support line. And they gave me such great advice. When I was struggling, they told me what to do. And so that I highly recommend, just tapping into that resource that we have. But we didn't give up, and we settled into our new habits, and it started to feel more natural. And then what's interesting is that it just became how we rolled. We were put into different situations, going out for meals and, going to restaurants. And it was our guiding force, these healthy habits that we were developing. It just guided every decision that we made, not to say that we didn't, veer off the path. Well, maybe David was perfect, but I certainly wasn't. um, and, our mindset gradually got stronger and stronger. So 4.5 months after we started, we reached our goals. I lost 30 pounds and David lost 45 pounds. And what happened after that is what is really interesting, because we continued with our healthy habits. We knew that this was a healthy lifestyle. We knew that in order to keep our weight off and to continue to improve our health, we needed to continue with our healthy habits and just make some decisions about things that we weren't going to have on our table every week. And certain foods, I know for David, we're off limits, and he's got a hard no on those. For me, I'm a little more like, I'll have a taste of something. But again, that just shows everyone is different. Each one of us is unique, and each one of us has to make our own decision about how we're going to continue with our healthy lifestyle. But what is most fascinating to me is looking back, looking back 4 years, our healthy habits have permeated our lives in ways that we didn't expect. So David's going to share one example of what I mean by that. Go ahead, David.
Right. So this isn't a habit that necessarily, it doesn't relate at all to weight loss. But for my whole life, I've gone to the dentist, and the dentist always says, "Oh, you flossed? Are you flossing?" And I would sort of say, "Yeah, sometimes." And then the last time that I went, I realized that I've been hearing this my whole life, and why not try to to start something? And sure enough, I started, and now it has become just part of my routine. And I think before I had this mindset of adopting new habits, or healthy habits anyway, it was just sort of like, yeah, I'll be okay. I didn't have any cavities, so there's no reason for me to do it. But I think but having my mindset change, I was able to say, something, this is good for me. It's not that difficult to do, and it will have a big impact on me overall. And so I've been very consistent about doing that. And it's really because of that mindset shift that happened for me. And so, it's had a big impact. And so again, it's not only related to food or things like that, but it can be related to any kind of habit you want to take on in your life. And so it's it's just an example, but it really just gave me the power and the strength to take on something new that is good for me.
Awesome. So back to the title of tonight's call. Super Bowl 55, which was played on Sunday, made history with Tampa Bay's quarterback, Tom Brady. And so David is going to share a little bit about this.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, Tom Brady is the oldest quarterback in the NFL at age 43, just won his 7th Super Bowl championship. And so both of those are super impressive, but more impressive when you look at the fact that the average age of an NFL quarterback is in his mid-30s. And most NFL players retire by the age of 35. So that's, in addition to having a really good offensive line to protect him, how does he do it? Susie?
Right. So, of course, he is very talented, but he has this disciplined lifestyle based on healthy habits. There's the tie-in. He has a consistent sleep schedule. He gets 8 hours of sleep every night. and he prides himself on his ideal sleeping environment, cold and dark, which is, in the Habits of Health book, in the sleep section, talking about, how we should design our bedrooms. And his diet is, protein intense, nutrient dense meals, and he focuses on getting in a ton of water every day. And of course, he has regular workouts, but he has this whole method of priming and recovering his muscles. And he wrote a book, and it's actually really, really interesting to read about his healthy habits and his whole philosophy. And it's called the TB12 method, if you're interested in reading more about that. But just to kind of wrap up our presentation, I just wanted to quote something from one of my favorite books. It's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. If you've never read it, definitely jot it down, put it on your list of books to read. And the part that I wanted to read is just about what we're talking about. And it's about forming a new identity. Okay. And I feel like that's what I have done for sure. So I'm quoting from the book: your habits shape your identity, and your identity shapes your habits. It's a two-way street. You have the power to change your beliefs about yourself. It's not about achieving external measures of success like earning more money, losing weight, or reducing stress. Habits can help you achieve all of these things, but fundamentally, they are not about having something. They are about becoming someone. So you can become the best version of yourself by visualizing who you want to be. And I feel, thanks to Optavia and this community and coach and all the components, and the coaching, like becoming a coach and helping others find their best health, not only keeps me on my path, but it has helped me form my identity as someone who is health conscious and constantly working on self-improvement. So I just want to open it up. I know we have two different people that are going to share their story or share parts of their story tonight. But I just wanted you to drop into the chat a habit that maybe you've struggled with before Optavia, but Optavia has helped you to master it or get better at it. Or drop into the chat a habit that you've moved into that just blew your mind. Like you just never expected that you'd be doing that. So it's just interesting to see, how far people have come. And, those who are at the beginning of their journey, I'm sure you can have wins right from the get-go, right out of the gate. Thank you for putting all of your ideas into the chat there. And here to share one of her best habits now is one of my clients, Lisa Michael. Would you please unmute and tell us about your best habit?
Hi, Susie. Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes. I'm really happy to be here, and I'm happy to be sharing this. So my thing that I've been working on is my water intake. A few weeks ago, I was talking to Susie, and I said, I drink water, but I drink water at the end of the day. I don't know how to, kind of regulate it. Susie said, try to set a timer. And I thought, okay, that's a good idea. And I have an Alexa. So I said to my Alexa, every 2 hours, set a reminder to drink water. And that's what I did. You can see the glass that I have. That's my glass. I keep it right next to the sink. Every 2 hours, I get a reminder on my phone. I drink every 2 hours. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I stop and I drink. I don't count coffee with it. I don't count anything else, Diet Coke or whatever else that I'm drinking. And that to me has been extremely helpful in getting my water in, is having that reminder. It's changing also kind of how I feel. I also notice that often I'll go to the sink and I'll drink a glass of water, and I realize that within 5 minutes, the Alexa will tell me, "Oh, your reminder to drink water." So it's becoming ingrained in me as a habit of health that that's what I do. So it's been very nice. It's been extremely helpful to do that. The water was something that I was very much struggling with before.
Thanks, Lisa.
Good.
And now we're going to turn over to Thelma to introduce our second share.
Hi, I'm Thelma, and I wanted to, tonight I have the honor to introduce Lance Kawish. He's been on the program for just 1 month. He has allowed me to speak for him a little bit. He came to me, he's diabetic, and we decided that the 4-2-in-1 was the right plan for him. He recently visited his doctor after being on the program for just a few weeks, and his A1C was reduced by 10% from 6.9 to 6.2. And Lance he's going to tell his story a little bit, and he's going to share with us some of his healthy habits. Thanks, Lance. Go ahead.
Thank you, Thelma, and hello, everybody. So I want to focus on, in 3 minutes, 3 habits of health that are really working very, very well for me. And they are the habit of hydration, the habit of preparation, and the habit of precision. So on the habit of hydration, I'm a corporate lawyer. I sit at a desk and do a lot of phone calls and a lot of emails all day. So next to my desk, rather than a Diet Coke, or more like 4 or 5 or 6 Diet Cokes a day, I've got this 32-ounce ball jar so I can quickly visually see where I am. And I find it really easy to have 4 of these 24 to 30-ounce bottles of water every day. For me, I think that the hydration has been a significant part of my 9, almost 10-pound loss in my first month. So hydration, people talked about it tonight. It's really important. And if we can do it right, it works for me. And it's way better than the Diet Coke. The habit of preparation for me is that every other evening, I write out pretty precisely what my meal plan is for the next 2 days. So when it comes to my fuelings, I might just write something like shake or snack or savory, crunchy. But when it comes to my lean protein and my greens, I'll write specifically whether it's chicken or tuna or whatever it might be, what the right number of ounces is based on whether it's lean, leaner, or leanest, the 5, 6, or 7 ounces. The specific greens, I tend to focus on greens where I can have a cup of them. I've discovered and love bok choy, but also I'm eating a fair amount of spinach and lettuce, as well as the half-cup servings of things like mushrooms and tomatoes. So preparation by writing my menu is habit number 2. And I think the habit of precision, which for me means measuring my food carefully. When I put salad dressing on, light salad dressing, I use 1 tablespoon or even a little less, even though I know we can use 2 for certain products. And just using an inexpensive kitchen scale. And obviously the shakes are easy to make because there's a line where the 1 quart level goes, or adding a precise amount of a mix of almond milk and water in shakes have really worked for me. So in summary, hydration with a cool ball jar, preparation of menus, and precision in weighing and paying attention to time, 2 to 2.5 hours between my fuelings or leans. So thank you, Thelma. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, everyone, for being part of the community.
Awesome. Awesome, Lance. Lisa and Lance, thank you so much for sharing. We do have just a couple minutes left. So Jody, should we open it up and see if anybody wants to ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah, we have a few minutes left. If anybody would like to expound on their habit that they put into the chat, please do. Or if you have some, amazing accomplishment, like David's flossing that you'd like to share with us.
So, and while you're thinking about it, I would just like to jump in on that, Susie, because I love a couple of points I just wanted to highlight. And please unmute yourself to jump in, or raise your electronic hand and we'll unmute you, because we love participation. But for me, what was so striking tonight is 2 things. First of all, you highlighting how the beginning wasn't so smooth and easy for you. And I remember it. And you guys, you persevered, you were determined to be successful, and you really engaged in the supports. And I'm saying that not only to make you feel good, because wow, has this been a journey and transformation, caterpillar to butterfly, clearly. But you took responsibility for yourself. You were determined to do it, and yet you reached out and you called and you went to nutrition support and you went to client answers and you were, we had a Facebook group. So you were in the Facebook group. You were really looking for that info. And everyone that's on this line and catching the recording should know the journey is not straight and pristine for most. And if it's pristine in the beginning for some, well, they may have a struggle later. And some, that really happens. I'm here to tell you it happens. And others that have a bumpy start and then they maybe cruise later. But we're all here in this together, and to be committed and use the supports is tremendous. The other thing is, I just wanted to say the ripple effect of looking at how, yes, we gain structure, but we gain habits and the ability to create habits. David, mind blow. To recognize that you've developed a skill set, and Lance, the same thing, planning and preparing. Those are huge. So I'm going to stop because we have a couple of hands up. We have Victoria up. We have, I'm going in order, actually. I don't know that we're going to have enough time. We may need you to put it in the chat when we post up the recording. Victoria, Kathleen, and then Amy, and then Jackie. Ooh. And we have 3 minutes.
I'll be fast. I'll
Go.
be really, really fast. I just wanted to say that I love the flossing example, because that is really an example of something that as a society we joke about. It's like, yes, the dentist always tells us we need to floss, and none of us do it. Now, yes, of course, some people do it, but as a society, we think nobody really flosses every single day. But also, people say nobody can eat right all the time, and nobody, nobody can weigh and measure their food. Nobody can do all these things. So it's just a great example of don't listen to all that. Don't listen to what people say nobody can do, because you can, and we can, and I can, and you can. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And I want to say thank you for the floss story too, since I'm a dental hygienist, newly retired. My major change that I had to make was the habit of eating 6 times a day. Being overweight my entire life, my fallback method of trying to control my weight that never worked was starvation mode. And for years, 64 years, I tried starvation mode and it never worked. And so when I learned to eat 6 times a day, I took off 102 pounds. And I do want to remind everybody that sometimes you think that, oh, if I just skip, I forgot fueling, so I'll lose weight faster if I don't eat that. But if you don't eat that fueling, then you're not getting all of your protein, you're not getting all your fiber, you're not getting all of your nutrients, and you end up putting yourself into starvation mode and shooting yourself in the foot. So it took me a long time, but I finally got that habit.
Woo! Jackie.
One other thing. We started a new client yesterday, and she's on the Zoom. Welcome, Anna Janet.
Amy, please, your turn, girl. Go for it.
Actually, it's Hubby's turn.
Hi, your name is Rahi. I've been on plan for about 30 months. I've lost 50 pounds. I feel great. But the habit that I put in the chat, I was me typing. I'm on a ball, by the way, bouncing. I'm not just like weird and bouncing around. I'm actually on one of these balls. I don't know what that is, but there's something happened to the screen. But I just wanted to say that we've been working on the the life book every single day and journaling every single day. I gave up on it when I first tried it about a year ago. Didn't like it, gave up in element 4. I'm now in element 5, made it through, working on it every single day, 5 minutes a day of each one. And it is freaking awesome. Pardon me for using that language. I apologize. I'll take my yarmulke off before I say that, but it is amazing. If you follow the life book and you follow the habits of health, it definitely works. Tribute to Eddie Van Halen, sorry, and anyway, that's all I had to say. Life book rocks all over it every day. And journal.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
letting me
you.
speak.
Jackie, you want to wrap us up at 9:01?
Yes, I totally do. I just want to say, we start the call every week by saying text your coaches that you're here. And something really cool happens. Somebody who in their support team, I'm gonna have to be a coach, but most people know who everyone, like we all work as a team, we're all together, and somebody else's client messaged me that she's here. Her coach was not on yet. It was exactly at 8:30. And I texted the coach a screenshot that her client was here. And then the coach came on. And I just wanted to share that so many times my clients text me and I'm not on, maybe for some reason, maybe I get in my head something. And that accountability works both ways, both from our coaches and from our clients. So at the beginning of the call, when they say to text your coach, it means a lot. And we are all here to support each other. And I just wanted to share that.
And there you have it. As my sister-in-law and coach and mentor would say, there you have it. So keep coming back, catch the recording. Consider, if you're a client, consider becoming a coach. Talk to your coach about it, because it is the most solid insurance policy to keep you on your path. And just keep coming back for more. So Susie and David and Lance and Lisa and Thelma and everybody that contributed tonight, thank you so very much. Awesome call, and we'll see you all next week. Have a great week. Feel free to unmute yourselves if you'd
Good
like.
night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank
you, everybody. Stay well.
Good night. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks for
Night.
chatting.
Good night. Thank you.
So welcome.